Hi my angels and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing this makeup look right here. This is my go-to daytime natural with a hint of glam makeup look, which I personally love wearing on the reg. If you guys see me out and about, I'm usually looking like this. But if you guys would like to see the first tutorial of mine for 2018, then please keep watching. So I'm going to start by prepping my skin. I'm first going to use the Clinique Pep Start, which is a kind of lip mask. And I'm going to pop that onto my lips so that they're nice and moisturized. This is really thick, so I might have to wipe it off before we do our lips. But we're just going to let that sit for a second and then we're going to move straight on to priming and all of that on my face. So I'm going to take The Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer and I'm going to prime my face with it. I've been loving this recently. I love how thick the texture is. I just love it. I totally forgot to put SPF on, so I'm just going to quickly add some SPF on top. I'm going to use my Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream and it's got an SPF of 30. I know I should have put this on before the primer. We're just going to roll with it. It'll be fine. I'm gonna just blend that into my skin. I am going to let that sit for a couple of minutes, and while that's sitting I'm going to do my brows. So the product I'm going to use is the Micro Tattoo Brow Artist from L'Oreal Paris, and this is a really unique product because it's got a micro trident tip. It looks really different to any other brow product out there, but what I like about this is my brows aren't currently like topped up with my microblading. So with this I can actually draw small hair-like strokes into my brows, so it's kind of like a top up during my microblading sessions. I'm going to be using the shade Ebony, but it does actually come in 6 different shades altogether. The reason why I like to use this before doing any of my makeup is because I can clean around the edges with some concealer, and that's just in case if I want my brows to look a little bit like sharper, if you know what I mean. So this eyebrow is pretty much done, and I'm just going to do the next one as well. Now that the brows are all filled in, I'm just going to take a little bit of concealer and clean up my brows. And this just gives your brows more of a kind of sharper look, and it just kind of neatens them up a little bit. Moving on to the base, usually I would just go in with a really light tinted moisturizer, but I'm just loving full coverage at the moment. So we're going to make our skin look as skin-like as possible. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some of my Wonder Glow on, and this is from Charlotte Tilbury. And I like that this just gives my skin a really nice and healthy glow, even on top or like underneath foundation. And it's really subtle. It's nothing too like crazy intense and really illuminated. It just gives my skin a really nice kind of like healthy glow to it. For foundation, I'm going to be using a current favourite of mine, and that is the YSL All Hours Foundation. But what I am going to do is I'm going to mix it in with some of the Tatcha Gold Camelia Beauty Oil, and this is just going to give us more of a luminosity. This is a really full coverage matte foundation, but the oil is just going to help really kind of like illuminate things up and make my skin look a lot more glowier. I am going to make a little concoction of this up on my hand, and a few drops of the beauty oil. And then with my beauty blender, I'm just going to start blending this all into my skin. I love that my skin up close still looks like skin. It will dry down a little bit. I love that it's still got that coverage, but with that kind of luminous feel to it. I love it. So now we're going to move on to the concealer. For that, I'm going to be using a bit of a concoction as well. I'm taking my Nars Creamy Radiant Concealer, and this is in the shade Custard. I'm just popping that on underneath my eyes, and then also a little bit on my forehead and my chin, just making sure the lines near my nose are nice and straight. And then to further brighten up my under eyes, I'm going to take my Tarte Shape Tape. I'm just going to pop a couple of dots and lines as well, and also in my chin and forehead while we're at it. With this combination of concealers, you get that coverage, but it's still, again, very lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin. Now that we've done that, I'm going to take the pointy end of my beauty blender and I'm going to start blending all of that out. I'm not going to go over my eyelids because they are quite pigmented, so what I like doing is I like putting nothing on them, and this way it kind of looks like I've got eyeshadow on, but I've not really. It's just my pigmented eyelids. So we're going to leave that as it is. I'm just going to make sure all the other areas are nice and blended. So now to set all the areas where we added the concealer, I am going to take my Patrick Starr and MAC collaboration powder. And this is a really beautiful, slightly pink toned powder. And I've been using it quite a lot recently. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to grab a brush and just kind of start setting those areas. I don't want all of my skin to look matte. So I'm just going to do it on the areas that I just want kind of setting from the concealer. That way it just doesn't budge. And I want my skin to still be like glowy in the other areas. Like you can still see right here, it's still quite luminous. But I am going to take a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder and I'm going to just hug that on the sides of my nose because that's the areas that I tend to get oily. I just realised I forgot to set my brows, so I'm going to quickly do that with the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brow. And this is just going to make sure that my pesky eyebrow hairs don't move around because my eyebrow hairs are actually super long, so I've got to have a bit of a kind of glue to keep them in place. For bronzing, I am going to use this right here. This is the Marc Jacobs bronzer. This is probably the most creamy bronzer I've ever used. It is quite pricey, but it melts into your skin like butter. I love the way that this looks and feels. And again, it's really lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin, it doesn't feel cakey on the skin, but it still gives you that beautiful bronzed look. I'm also going to go underneath my jawline and across my hairline as well. As always, just going to go over with my beauty blender, and this just kind of blends everything really nicely into the skin. And then to contour my nose, I'm going to take my Benefit Hoola bronzer and I'm just going to grab some of that on both sides of the brush, and then I'm just going to hug my nose with that. And it looks really funny right now but I am going to go over again with my beauty blender so we will be good to go. I'm just going to add a little bit more onto my cheeks. So handy beauty blender, I'm just going to go over that very slightly. And this just gives me like a really sun-kissed vibe to my whole face. We're almost done with the rest of the skin. I'm just gonna get my blush, which is this Too Faced Peach Blush. It's like a really nice muted pinky peach tone. And I thought it would go nicely with my jumper. And it also smells like peaches. But I'm just gonna pop that on to the apples of my cheeks. And I always feel like I put way too much blush on my cheeks. So I just like to go over like this with my beauty blender again. For highlight, I like to use something nice and creamy, and what I am going to use is actually an eyeshadow. This is the L'Oreal Paris Nude 206 eyeshadow. It looks like this. When you actually put your finger in it, it feels like cream. It doesn't feel like a powder, but it is super pigmented, so you only need a tiny amount. So I'm going to grab some on a big brush. I'm actually using quite a big brush, but then I'm just going to dust that onto the high points of my cheeks. And it just gives me such a gorgeous glow without it looking powdery, without it looking like it's kind of sitting on top of my skin. So this just makes it look really nice, like melted in, which is what I want, especially in the daytime. And for like natural looks, I like things to be like almost like blended and like meshed into each other. I am, I think, going to put just a little bit more blush on top, just to get rid of the extra kind of highlight that got onto my cheeks. So my base is all finished and we're going to move on to eyes and lips. So for eyes, when I'm going for more of a like natural makeup look kind of day where I don't want to do like a full glam, I will actually avoid wearing lashes altogether because I like to give my lashes a break, but you guys know me, I've got to have like big in your face lashes. But I love my lashes to look really amazing. So for my mascara, I'm actually going to be using a brand new product. This is the L'Oreal Paris False Lash X Fiber Xtreme Resist, which is a waterproof mascara, and I love this mascara because it gives you the look of falsies without actually having to wear falsies. So this has two sides of the mascara, so there's the number 1 here and number 2 here. The number 2 side is the side which actually has fibers within the mascara that attach to your lashes, making them look longer, thicker and fuller, and basically looking like you're wearing falsies when you're not really. So we are gonna just start off with number 1, and I'm gonna start coating my top lashes with that first. I like to make sure I've got every single lash coated with this. And I'm going to do the same on the other eye as well. So this is what my lashes look like with just one coat of the number 1 side. But now I'm going to go with the number 2 side. I'm going to get my mirror up close and I'm going to start coating these lashes. And this is where it starts to get super extreme. You can tell instantly that my lashes are getting thicker and fuller and longer. I'll show you guys a comparison between the two as well. So this is what the eye looks like after putting side 2 on. It looks pretty intense and I love it. And obviously this is the side before, but we're just going to go straight on top of that as well with number 2. And that is the final result of the lashes. Depending on my mood, I sometimes do go in with another layer of the both sides, but I'm pretty happy with the way that they're looking. So we're going to keep it as that. But one thing I need to grab is my L'Oreal Paris Infallible Gel Crayon. This is a black, super intense eyeliner. You guys know how much I love this. I use this like all the time, but I am going to very slightly line my upper waterline. This is just going to help the eyes look a lot more kind of like finished off. I feel like I can never do just mascara without lining my upper waterline. Speaking of the Infallible range, I'm actually going to take a lip liner, which is also from the Infallible range here. This is the Infallible Longwear Lip Liner from L'Oreal Paris, and this is in the shade Nudist. You guys know I love a good nude. I've just taken off a majority of the lip balm and we're going to start lining our lips. This lip liner is super, super creamy and buttery, and this can totally be used to overline the lips, which is what I'm doing right now, without the use of any kind of lip fillers. Now that we've got the lip liner on, I have slightly contoured. I've popped a little bit into the center and 2 the kind of dots out here, but I'm going to use the Beauty Bakerie Lip Whip. This is in the shade called I Like to Chai Chai. I really love that name, but I'm just going to start popping this on to my lips and kind of blending it into the lip liner as well. I really like going over the lip liner line because it kind of blends everything out without having to use like a lip brush. It kind of just does the job for you. And now that the makeup is all done, it's just time for setting sprays. I'm going to use my Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist just on the kind of high points of my cheekbones, and this is just going to help that area look really nice and glowy. And then for the rest of the face, I'm using my trusty all-nighter, spraying that all over. So guys, this is the end of my makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love the way this turned out. I love doing this kind of makeup on the day-to-day. And I do really hope you guys enjoyed it because I've been getting a lot of questions on my Instagram to show you guys how I do kind of my daytime kind of really natural makeup look. Obviously, it's very full coverage, but I do just love the way that the lips and the eyes and everything turned out because it's all nice and soft, but it's still got that hint of like glam to the makeup look. It would be amazing if you guys could join me and put the eyebrow, the mascara, and the lip products to the test and join #Team Xtreme. I will leave all of the details in the info box below, as well as a full list of all the makeup that I've included in this video. I think that's everything that I was going to tell you guys. I am so excited for 2018. It's going to be a really, really good year. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave it as that because I've got to go and run some errands now. So do make sure that you're subscribed and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!